am completely convinced that Stephanie White is Caitlin Clark's biggest up. She's definitely her biggest hater. Caitlin Clark has been balling all freaking game. Y'all want to know what Stephanie White did? Y'all want to know what Stephanie White did? Took her out of the game. Now, Caitlin Clark, right, is currently on a roll to getting a double-double today. A double-double. Now, I believe this is going to be Caitlin Clark's first double-double of the year. Now, what is...
Picture the scene. You are inside a completely rocking, sold-out Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Indiana Fever are absolutely putting an old-fashioned, highlight reel beatdown on the Seattle Storm. The offense is clicking. The transition game is lethal. And sitting right at the absolute center of this magnificent basketball symphony is the greatest offensive engine the sport has ever seen. Caitlin Clark is having an absolute, undeniable masterclass of a game. She has 21 points. She has 10 assists. She has 7 rebounds. She is shooting 50% from behind the three-point line. She is literally just 3 measly rebounds away from securing her very first triple-double of the 2026 season. The crowd knows it. The television broadcasters know it. The bench knows it. The entire basketball universe is waiting for the historic milestone to drop. And then, with over 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, head coach Stephanie White looks down her bench, points her finger, and actively, deliberately takes Caitlin Clark out of the basketball game. Welcome back to WNBA She Serves. You already know exactly why you clicked on this video. If you are sick and tired of the mainstream sports media making excuses for petty, jealous, and incompetent coaching, if you are exhausted by the corporate networks refusing to point out absolute sabotage when it happens right in front of our eyes, you have found your absolute sanctuary. We do not do corporate PR spin. We do not protect the WNBA establishment. We give you the raw, unfiltered, high-octane truth about the business, the blood sport, and the locker room politics of professional basketball. Grab a seat, lock in, and turn your volume all the way up to the absolute maximum level. Because today, we are surgically dissecting one of the most petty, arrogant, and blatantly vindictive coaching decisions in recent WNBA history. We are exposing exactly how Stephanie White actively tried to stop Caitlin Clark from achieving a legendary triple-double. We are breaking down the horrific rotation management that completely destroyed Clark's rhythm. And we are looking at the undeniable stats that prove Caitlin Clark is succeeding in spite of her head coach, not because of her. Let us start with the absolute, undeniable facts of this basketball game against the Seattle Storm. Caitlin Clark was completely, totally unguardable. The haters in the national media, the people who claimed her shot was broken, the people who claimed the thrill was gone, were forced to watch in absolute silence as she systematically picked the Seattle defense completely apart. She finished the night shooting 5 for 10 from the floor. She shot 2 for 4 from three-point range, a flawless 50% from deep. She shot 9 for 9 from the free throw line, continuing her absolute perfection from the charity stripe this entire season. She recorded her 12th career game with at least 20 points and 10 assists, adding another massive, untouchable record to her resume. She was hitting the deep logo threes. She was controlling the pace. She currently leads the entire Indiana Fever roster in plus-minus rating. She is, without a shadow of a single doubt, the best, most impactful player on that roster. And she was well on her way to securing a legendary triple-double to silence the critics once and for all. She was sitting at 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. She needed exactly 3 rebounds in the fourth quarter. Just 3. In a game where the Indiana Fever were dominating the glass, it was an absolute certainty. With 7 minutes and 35 seconds left on the game clock in the fourth quarter, an eternity in professional basketball, Stephanie White pulled Caitlin Clark from the game. And let us be incredibly clear about the sinister optics of this substitution. Stephanie White didn't just pull Caitlin Clark to give her a quick 30-second breather. She pulled her, and then she immediately pulled the rest of the starters. Why? so that she could hide behind the cowardly, transparent excuse of resting the starters during a blowout. Oh, the game was out of reach. I was just protecting my players. I wasn't trying to stop her triple-double. Do not let them gaslight you. Do not let the establishment media sell you that absolute garbage narrative. If a superstar player is 3 rebounds away from a massive, historic milestone in front of their screaming home crowd, the unwritten rule of professional basketball is that you leave them in the game until they secure the milestone, and then you pull them. You let the fans celebrate. You let the player have their moment of greatness. But Stephanie White is so fundamentally anti-Caitlin Clark. She is so completely obsessed with proving that the system is bigger than the superstar, that she actively, intentionally sabotaged her own player's legacy moment. And this wasn't just a fourth-quarter phenomenon. If you watch the game tape closely, Stephanie White spent the entire night aggressively, bizarrely messing with Caitlin Clark's playing rhythm. 4 minutes into the first quarter, just 4 minutes into the game, Stephanie White subbed Caitlin Clark out. Why? Then just 1 minute into the second quarter, right after Clark had already rested during the break, she subbed her out again. What the heck is she doing? The fans were screaming on social media. Why is Steph sitting Caitlin so early? It is incredibly obvious what she was doing. She was treating the greatest offensive engine in the WNBA like a rotational role player. She was constantly yanking her in and out, desperately trying to artificially suppress her minutes and prevent her from completely dominating the narrative. The fact that Caitlin Clark still managed to put up 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds while only playing 24 totally fragmented minutes is an absolute testament to her sheer, unadulterated greatness. She garnered those massive numbers despite her head coach doing absolutely everything in her power to throw her off balance. Now, to be completely fair and accurate, Caitlin Clark did get subbed back into the game with exactly 49 seconds left on the clock. But by that point, the damage was completely done, the rhythm was gone, the game was essentially over. She managed to grab 1 more assist, but the triple-double was mathematically dead. Stephanie White completely hated on her own superstar. And let us look at the rest of the roster, because the box score tells a very, very interesting story about where the actual value on this team lies. Sophie Cunningham absolutely showed up and showed out tonight. Massive credit to her for providing lethal perimeter spacing and physical energy. Lexi Hull had an amazing outing, finally getting significant minutes and proving exactly why she belongs in this rotation. But then you look at the veteran players that Stephanie White continues to prioritize. Monique Billings played 19 minutes. She scored exactly 4 points. 19 minutes for 4 points from a veteran frontcourt player. Why did the front office even sign her if she's going to be a complete offensive black hole? And then there is Kelsey Mitchell, the player the coaching staff is desperately trying to build the offense around. Kelsey Mitchell finished the game with exactly 2 assists. 2 assists from your starting guard. But wait, it gets better. You want to know why she even had 2? Because she heard the absolute roaring criticism from the fans and the media about her selfish, tunnel vision style of play, and she clearly made it a forced, unnatural priority to occasionally pass the basketball. We literally had a 3-on-1 fast break, and instead of passing the ball for a guaranteed layup, Mitchell took it herself. And then you have rookie Raven Johnson. Johnson played 17 minutes tonight. 17 minutes. Do you know what her stat line was? 0 points. 0 steals. 1 block. You cannot play a rookie guard 17 minutes on a championship contending team if she is going to give you absolutely 0 offensive production and 0 defensive disruption. The Indiana Fever won this basketball game 89-78. They shot 46% from the field. They shot a putrid 24% from three-point range. And let's be honest, the only reason it wasn't lower is because Caitlin Clark was shooting 50% by herself. The rest of the team went 3 for 17 from deep. The Fever committed 20 horrific turnovers against a young, rebuilding Seattle Storm team. 20 turnovers is completely unacceptable. Yes, they won the rebounding battle 38-31, But again, look at the competition. The Seattle Storm do not have the physical pieces inside to compete on the glass right now. This was a given. The bottom line is this. The Indiana Fever got the victory. The fans packed the arena. Caitlin Clark proved to the entire world that she is still the absolute undisputed queen of the WNBA, hitting logo threes, leading the team in plus-minus, and putting up legendary numbers despite playing restricted minutes. But the victory cannot and will not hide the absolute toxic, vindictive coaching decisions being made by Stephanie White. When a head coach deliberately pulls a generational superstar 3 rebounds shy of a historic triple-double, when she constantly messes with her rotation to prevent her from finding a rhythm, it tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the power struggle currently tearing this franchise apart from the inside out. Stephanie White is not trying to maximize Caitlin Clark. She is trying to control her. She is trying to humble her. She is trying to prove to the WNBA establishment that she is the boss. And if the Indiana Fever front office allows this petty, jealous, anti-superstar agenda to continue, they are going to completely ruin the greatest legacy this sport has ever seen. This is WNBA She Serves. We are the only channel on this platform willing to call out the coaching staff when they deliberately sabotage their own players. We look past the final score, and we expose the political warfare happening on the bench. If you respect the uncompromising, raw truth, if you appreciate the deep, analytical breakdowns that the mainstream media is absolutely terrified to touch, do not just sit there. Smash that subscribe button right now and join the fastest-growing community of highly educated basketball fans on the internet. Hit that like button to feed the algorithm and force YouTube to push the absolute truth to the masses. And most importantly, I absolutely need to hear your unfiltered thoughts in the comments section below. Do you believe Stephanie White pulled Caitlin Clark specifically to stop the triple-double? Is 24 minutes an insult to the face of the league? And how much longer can this franchise survive this toxic coaching agenda? I want to read every single theory, every single tactical breakdown, and every single hot take you have. Drop them in the comments right now. Hit that notification bell, because the Indiana Fever drama is reaching critical mass, and we will be right here breaking down every single moment.